On the passenger side of the engine compartment, grab your trim piece, gently lift upward. Separate that, set that aside. I'm going to grab your power steering pump reservoir. I'm going to pull that up, and we're just going to tuck this back a little bit. We're going to use a jack with a block of wood, and what we're going to do is put it underneath the front portion of the engine. We're not going to lift the engine, we just want to support that. Using a 17mm socket to remove the forward mounted bolt right here. Use a 14mm socket to remove the other two bolts here. Go ahead and grab that upper bracket. And we'll remove this. Using our 14mm socket and breaker bar, and go ahead and release the tension on our drive belt, or remove that belt. Release the tensioner. We're going to loosen our low pressure power steering hose clamp, and we're going to slide that back. And grab that hose. I'm going to slowly work this back. Before we pop this off, we want to make sure we get some rags underneath here in case we have any residual power steering fluid that runs out. I'm going to take our new pump. I'm going to pop off our cap right here. Our plan is to go ahead and pull this off and put it right on to the new pump. Slide that right on. Take your pliers. I'm going to line this right back up. Set that aside. The rubber cap that we had pulled off of our new pump, we're going to put over our old pump, and this will help keep fluid from running out. Take the new pump, we're going to remove the cap for the high pressure side, and go ahead and pop this off. Set this aside again, and we're going to use a 10mm socket. We're going to remove these two bolts right here. Now we have our rag underneath to catch any residual fluid. Set our bolts aside right now. Let's go ahead and work this hose off. I'm just going to use a small flathead screwdriver and just gently rock this up and off. There's an O-ring on here. If you happen to have an O-ring to replace it, go ahead and do it now. Our O-ring looks like it's in good shape, so we're going to go ahead and swap this over to this unit. I'm going to pop this on there. Get our bolt started. And we'll go ahead and get those snug down. And we're going to go ahead and pop our reservoir back over, and then we're going to move our new pump off to the side. We're going to pop our cap onto the high pressure side. I'm going to go ahead and remove our drip rag. We're going to use a deep 12mm socket and get to our lower power steering pump bolt. Let's go ahead and remove this bolt. Just going to go ahead and spin this bolt out. On the left side of your power steering pump, there's going to be a 12mm bolt right here to the left of that pulley. We're going to use our gear wrench, and we're going to loosen and remove that. Go ahead and pull that bolt out. Take your pump, go ahead and remove that from the vehicle. Using a 19mm socket, let's go ahead and remove the nut holding the pulley to the pump. Get to remove our rubber boot off of our pump here. Grab your pulley, slide that on. Install the nut, and we'll secure that. I'm going to go ahead and lower our power steering pump down. Get this lined up. We'll get our two bolts threaded in. There's one on the back side here and one on the bottom side. Okay, once that's in, let's go ahead and get those snug down. I'm going to go ahead and snug that down pretty good. On the back side, we're going to use our gear wrench. And we'll get that one tightened down. A little bit easy to snug that down quicker by hand. Threads in nice and easy. And we'll snug that in. Grab our power steering pump fluid reservoir, hang that in place. Just going to install our upper portion of the mount. I'll go ahead and get these bolts started by hand. We'll go ahead and get our mount bolt started here. And we'll go ahead and have to work our jack a little bit for that to line up a little bit. Let's go ahead and get these snug down first. All right, we're going to go ahead and lower our jack just a little bit. Okay. I'm just going to work that jack back and forth. We're still not getting this to line up yet. I'll just take a couple times. Actually, we got it right there. Here we go. I want to go ahead and tighten this down. Take your power steering fluid reservoir, line that up with your bracket. You can hang that. Now go ahead and lower the jack, and we can remove that from the vehicle. Now we want to go ahead and install our ground strap here. Grounds are very important to the engine's operation. We want to make sure that our ground mounting surface is clean. And clean the eyelet here, as well as cleaning the bolt. Let's go ahead and install that ground strap. Once we get that bolt started a few threads, let's go ahead and snug that down. Let's go ahead and work our belt down. Let's go ahead and work our belt down and around our accessories. Going to grab our drive belt and we're going to pull that down. And we're going to start routing our drive belt. From underneath, we're able to go ahead and run our serpentine or drive belt around our harmonic balancer, around the AC, up and around our tensioner unit, and then we're going to go and finish installing it from the top side. I'm going to slide our power steering pump reservoir off and tuck it up underneath the hose right there, and use our 14mm socket on the tensioner. Can bring this up and get our belt installed. That's good, and bring our tensioner up. Good, and release the tensioner and remove our ratchet. Now what you want to do is go ahead and visually inspect all of the pulleys. Make sure that the belt is on all of the pulleys straight. Everything looks good. Just going to pop our power steering pump reservoir back into its tray right there. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and start up the vehicle. With the vehicle running, we're going to go ahead and turn the steering wheel from lock to lock, left to right. And we're going to go ahead and work the air bubbles out of the power steering system. I'm going to go ahead and shut down the vehicle. I'm going to go ahead and check our power steering fluid in our reservoir. Let's go ahead and open up the cap over here. I'm going to check. Our fluid does appear to be low, so we're going to go ahead and add fluid, and we're going to repeat this process until our fluid level is high and the steering system is nice and quiet. Let's go ahead and add our power steering fluid. I'm going to add a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and continue with our cycle, start up the vehicle, turn the steering wheel lock to lock, back and forth a couple times, come back and check the fluid and repeat the process. Go ahead and install our side cover.